Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to.
How exactly does it feel to have a father who is well known, a celebrity like Ras Kimono? Let's start from there.
I would say it's a privilege to be Ras Kimono's daughter. It's a privilege that I do not take lightly, and I mean, God just blessed me, to be an offshoot from the humble lion, like they call him, So I'm forever grateful and privileged to come from that lineage.
Now it's been 5 years, since you lost your father.
Yeah.
What would you say you miss most about him?
So this question is a question that I get every now and then, and I have the same answer over and over again.
Okay.
There is no, I would not say there is one particular thing that I miss about Kimono, because Kimono is a total package. I miss everything about him. He was my father, he was my buddy, he was my confidant, he was everything, I mean, I had a very special relationship with my dad, in my early adult years, the bond was unbelievable, because as a female, I guess when you get to that stage of womanhood, you tend to relate with your mother most, or more. But in my own case, my dad was everything. He knew when I was in a relationship. He knew when my heart was broken. He knew when I wasn't in a relationship, and all of that. So it's the total package for me. I mean, like, we would go out together just to go and play snooker. We'd just hang out together. We'd go clubbing together, just me and him. So like he was everything. So I miss everything about my dad, every single thing about him.
Okay, now, very little is known about your mom. Do you mind telling us about her? What's her name? Where is she? And, we get to hear a lot about your father.
Yeah.
So tell us about your mom. Let's also meet her.
I think the reason why my mom is not so much in the public space is, aside the fact that she's also from, a well-known family. My mom is from Akwa Ibom State. She's from the Akpabio family, and she was the last child of the family, and in her early years as a spinster was when she met my dad, and then they had me. They didn't get married, so me growing up was me growing up with my maternal grandmother, and because of the kind of family my mom was from, she, like I said, she was the last child in the house. So I think there was a little bit of over pampering, you know, uh, that my grandparents, showered on her. So probably that is also part of the reason why I did not really get to have a relationship with her. It's funny how I was having this discussion with a friend of mine yesterday, and I was telling her how my mom's immediate elder brother, called me someday to say, "Oh, we know that maybe one way or the other we had failed you with your mom or something, but what it is we have come to realize that what we didn't know back in those days was that it would have been possible that your mom was slightly autistic, and she tilted mostly to the creative side of her spectrum, she met my dad while she was managing the famous hair salon in Bobby Benson Hotel at the time, So this was her field. My mom was more into the beauty, beauty industry, so to speak, beauty and hair industry, But I think because of her autistic nature that wasn't understood back in the days at the time, they didn't pay good attention to her, because every time, because of the kind of family she came from, every time she said she wasn't interested in going to school, she wanted to open her own salon and everything, she was always being talked down on, saying, "Oh no, you have to go to school, you have to get your degree, you have to," which she never did, and she still stayed on her course saying, "I want to have a hair salon," but nobody understood that at the time, and yeah, like I said, the reason why people don't get to hear a lot about my mom is because I really didn't have a relationship with my mom. Instead of my mom, it was my grandma, you know. So, um, but my mom was a very loving woman. She was a very loving woman, you know, and everybody.
What's her
Her
name?
name is Elsie Akpabio. So I named my child after my mom, actually.
Okay, okay, okay. Is your mom still alive? And
No,
what if yes? What's the
face.
relationship with her?
My mom
Okay,
passed on. Yeah, she passed on 15 years before Kimono passed on. So this year makes it 20 years since she passed on. Yes.
okay. Which means you never had that daughter-mother
Yeah.
relationship with her.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Now let's come back to your father again. What would you say is the fondest memory of your father that you still have?
It's too many. It's too
That's why
many. My
I
father
said the
was a very
fondest.
playful man. He was oh my God, my dad was a very mischievous person, you know. Aside what people don't know about him, you know, like in the house, in as much as he's that disciplinarian and you know he likes to be prim and proper with the things he does, you know, he's also my father was extremely mischievous. He was extremely, when I say extremely, I remember one incident. My baby sister, she was only a baby, she was probably maybe 2 years old, you know, and dinner was served for my dad, and my dad says to her, oh, Dima, can you help me? No, my dad's food came, and she said, oh, daddy, can I eat with you? And my dad said no. And then the next thing my dad says, oh, Dima, go and bring water for me in the fridge. And she says, no, go and take it yourself. So he goes, okay, senior this speaking. So no one I tell us me and I'm not be mate. You know,
Interesting.
that's
Interesting.
definitely a fond memory, you know.
All right. Now, when was the last time you saw your father before his death?
It was on his birthday before his demise. I had seen him, which was the 9th of May. But he made a trip to Abuja the following day, or the May 11th. But we couldn't meet because where he was in Abuja was a distance away from where I was, and it had rained heavily that day. So we said, okay, no problems. When he comes back from America, we'll get to see, you know. So the last time I saw him was actually on his birthday.
Okay. Was there any remarkable or memorable thing that he told you that last time that both of you met? You know, that maybe after his death, you now look back and say, okay, maybe my daddy was trying to pass a message across or something like that. Did anything like that happen?
Well, I know that way before he passed on, I think probably the year before he passed on, we had a little rift, you know. And I remember him coming to Abuja for a gig with Oris Wiliki after that period, you know, and we had a very profound discussion, you know. My father apologized to me, and you know, for the things that had happened that caused the rift between us, you know, and that was very very remarkable, you know. And it's not to say my dad is one person or one parent I know that if he offends you, he knows how to say he is sorry. You know, it doesn't take anything from him. You know, he calls
No.
you and there is a discussion about it, and everybody airs their opinion and their feelings. You know, and there is a peace. You know, there is a resolution to it. You know, so definitely that
Okay.
was a very very remarkable move, you know, and of course having to spend his 60th birthday with him, you know, it was it was I would say I was very very lucky that I got that time. I got to spend that time with him, you know.
Would you like to shed more light on the rift, or you want to keep it to
No,
yourself?
I'll keep it to myself. That's some personal stuff. That's
Okay.
family issues.
Okay. So, how has the family been coping, you know, with his death or after his death?
Well, I must tell you, it hasn't been easy. You know, the thing that people never talk about, especially in death, is that in some families, death brings them closer. In some families, death drifts makes them drift apart. You know, and in one case, we had a very turbulent first 2 3 years, due to a lot of things that transpired during his funeral, before his funeral, and during his funeral. But however, as time, they say, heals all wounds. All those squabbles are being laid to rest, and everybody has been finding a mechanism to cope, because I mean, Kimono was basically the glue to the family. And the moment he left, it was as if everything was going to fall apart. But thank God for his grace, thank God for wisdom, thank God for patience, thank God for forgiveness as well. We're still holding the fort and forging ahead.